Thrasher and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest I'm very excited about because, oh my God, he's the metal chameleon. So let's welcome to the show, Norman Skinner. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
I love that title. I love that title because probably nobody else has it, and because I'm a total chameleon, and you totally are with all the projects that you do. It's like, I joke about it on my show that I'm schizophrenic because I have all these different personalities. And I think I'm going to give you the same honor, for your musical talents. It's like you have multiple personalities doing all these music talents.
Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer if you're going to be in multiple projects, you should do something different. Don't do the same thing, right?
Right? I mean, even within your own projects sometimes, I was talking about this in the last interview. If you make a whole album, it shouldn't be the same song, every song on the album.
Oh, absolutely.
Because otherwise, why bother? I like the albums where I want to listen to the whole album, and maybe even newer people today that don't like to listen to albums would listen to the whole album. Maybe if there is a little more diversity like that, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, not to bag on certain bands, but, when you become a formula band, new album, everyone already knows what to expect. There's no surprises.
You just spoke my total language because, okay, so I'm an old school, thrash metalhead from the very beginning. Went to Metallica's first show ever, Slayer's first show ever. And, one thing I always say is if you take the big four of thrash or any of the other early thrash bands, they didn't sound exactly the same. They didn't sound like they were in one genre. They had their uniqueness to them. And metal was never like a formula thing. It's like, I remember when I first started playing guitar, I was like, my dad was yelling at me, thought I sucked because I was experimenting, trying to see what sounds I could make and how distorted I could make it and all that stuff. Because I was experimenting. To me, that's what metal was. It's like nowadays I always say it's like they take an algebraic equation to make metal, some of these bands, and that's not what metal was ever about.
No. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going on.
Right? And, I am also an old school fan of Forbidden, also a amazing thrash metal band that falls right into what I'm saying. And now you're the vocalist for Forbidden, and it's pretty badass. So maybe tell the story of how that happened.
Oh, it was an accident, actually. They were doing something called Bay Area International, which is you get a bunch of old school thrash guys, and you get them in a room together, and they play a bunch of covers. But the caveat is you cannot play your own song. So if you're in Death Angel, you can't play a Death Angel song. You got to play one of the other guys.
Nice.
So they were putting together a show for Dynamo Festival in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
All of their singers, they had guest singers like Mark Osawega from Death Angel, Randy from Lamb of God, guys like that. But they had no singers to rehearse. They were all either out of state, on tour, whatever. Chris Contos, the now Forbidden drummer, former Machine Head drummer, said, "Hey, why don't we get that guy Norman Skinner? He's, he lives a couple hours away, but he's got a pretty good voice. He can maybe help us out and do some of these cover songs." So I get a call from Craig from Forbidden. He's like, "Hey, can you learn 12 songs just come down for a couple weekends to help us, with our spots and keep us on track. So I learned 12 tracks, went down there for a few weekends, just sang all the songs. So here's where it gets interesting. One of the songs was a forbidden song. And every day we were not playing that song. We were doing every other song except that one song.
Huh.
So I raised my hand and I'm like, hey, what about this forbidden song? Are we going to do that one? And the core group that was rehearsing everything were all forbidden members. Literally, it was the whole 2010 Omega Wave lineup was in that room.
Wow.
So they're like, well, we're not going to play this song because we're in the band. So then somebody said, you know what, maybe we should do it in case someone drops out or we need to do something on the fly. So I sang it. Now, little did I know people that were hanging out in the hall, because there's a lot of musicians, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I started singing it, like the door opened behind me and people were like, what's going on? Oh my God. And I didn't know what was going on. But then afterwards, I think that sort of planted the seed that, hey, there is a guy somewhat local to us that could deliver this stuff and maybe we could do something with it. Nice. But it didn't happen for, almost 6-7 months later when I got the call. Between that time, they had me come out into San Francisco, do another Bay Area Thrash show where I sing like 9 songs, one of them being Chalice of Blood. With my backing band was Warbringer. So it was basically me fronting Warbringer doing Chalice. And the place went insane. And then Chris Contos was like, you guys are stupid if you don't get Forbidden back together. I still didn't think anything of it. Fast forward, I get a call from Craig, and I'm thinking he's going to offer me more Bay Area Thrash stuff. He's like, how would you like to be the new singer for Reformed Forbidden?
Wow.
I said, yeah. I didn't even talk to anybody. I didn't talk to family, friends. I just said yes. So sort of an accident, just kind of was helping them out with something. And once, things just lined up.
That's how sometimes the best things happen. So there it is. And so tell us a little bit about what's going on with Forbidden, what's going on with your other bands, and then let's focus on your solo stuff, which is kick ass.
Oh, thanks. Forbidden, we're writing. I mean, we've already announced, we'll be doing the summer run. We're going to play Vaken and Helsinki Metal Fest and a few others that haven't been announced yet, but we're going to do a nice little Euro run. It is the 35th anniversary, I believe, of Twisted into Form. So we're going to be playing that in its entirety. So fans have that to look forward to. Other than that, we're writing. This week, I am expecting the first 2 songs to be delivered to me so I can start the very initial first vocal melodies and lyrics to new Forbidden music. So we're literally on the eve of diving into that and getting that going.
Very cool.
But yeah, that's it for Forbidden. It's kind of quiet. It's a lot of writing right now. Aside from that, my band Niviane, we just released a single, 12 BC Legions in December. On January 17th, there will be a new single called Tomorrow's a New Day being released. We'll have one more in February, another single, and then the full album, Queen of Phantoms, comes out March 7th. So that's going to be our 3rd album. And for fans that are unaware, because obviously it's a smaller band than Forbidden, we're like a really heavy power metal band. So
well,
it's like,
I have a trivia question for you, by the way, but finish your description.
No, that's literally it. We're a heavy power metal band. It's like if you like regular power metal, but sometimes it seems a little cheesy and goblins and unicorns, we might be right up your alley because we take it a little more serious and it's got a heavy edge to it. So
it is badass. Now, here's my trivia question for you. And you might be, I've asked this before, when it's pertinent, you might be the first one to ever answer it or properly answer it.
All right.
What thrash metal band was originally coined as power metal?
Oh, originally, my first guess would be Forbidden. But if it's not Forbidden, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure that if I had to pick one as a fan, they're the closest because Russ Anderson was more of a power metal singer, being influenced by Rob Halford and stuff. So
yeah. So here it is. I'll give you the short story of something I've said a bunch of times, and that's why I'll make it short. But yeah, I went to that first Metallica show, and the guitarist got off the stage, came, started talking to me because that's how it was back in the day, you know, at the little clubs. Hands me his business card, and it says Metallica, power metal, Dave Mustaine.
I love that. That's awesome.
Right?
That's like that is a party antidote.
Right?
I'm gonna pull that out, man.
There was no such thing as thrash metal before that.
Right. That makes sense.
You know? So there you go. I mean, I think it's wild today to even think of them as a power metal band.
Yeah, no, it's
You know,
means something completely different now. Yeah.
Right. So, and so let's talk about what I have behind me.
Yeah, my solo stuff. What's funny is most people don't know a lot about my solos. They know about my other bands, right? And they slowly go, "Oh, this guy has his own solo albums he puts out," and I'm super proud of that. That's my latest one. It came out literally. Here's what's funny. I worked on that album for about 8 years on the back burner. I mean, I released tons of albums with other bands, but I was always working on that one, kind of little by little.
Perfectionist.
Yeah, over 8 years. I get it just where I want it. I release it. Literally the next week, they announce I'm the singer of Forbidden.
Wow.
So you can see what happened to that album. It just got buried.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So it's all good. But yeah, the album's called The Dark Design. Released a bunch of singles off of it. It's I'm just super proud of it. It's my second solo album. My first one was called Sleepwalkers, came out in 2014. But Sleepwalkers a little more thrash with some power elements.
Right.
This one's really my bread and butter, where I get to show off all the different styles I like.
Well, that's what I liked about it. I felt it, you know, like there's some bands that just take you on a journey, and that's what that felt like.
Oh, nice. I mean, I love hearing that. Every song, you know, there were a lot of songs that didn't make it, but with this, I was able to work with various musicians, pick the songs that I want. I was in charge of the structures. You know, it was my baby. So, you know, I got final veto on everything. And,
yeah, right.
Yeah, it turned out fantastic. I'm actually working on the first 3 songs for maybe an upcoming Skinner album. But I'll always be working on solo material, just because it's another creative outlet for myself. So
I think it also, for any artist, I think it allows them to stay in bands longer. Like, you know, Lars finally admitted, like, you know, and James, that, you know, maybe they should have let Jason do his thing, and he probably would have still been with the band. Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, because if you don't have a creative outlet where, like you said, you have last veto, where you can really express your creativity. When you're in a band, you do. It's like anything else. You do have to, you know, appeal to everybody, not just yourself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of conceding and then fighting battles. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
You don't always get it your way.
Exactly. And it goes right back to what I said in the beginning about my dad, like saying, yeah, you should quit guitar, you suck, you know, because I was just trying to do what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't care what anybody thought. I was trying to find the sound.
Sure.
You know? So what else do you have going on that you need to talk about, or that people need to know to look out for?
Other than, we got new Forbidden music in the works. Niviane albums coming out. New Skinner stuff's being written. I do have another recording project called Elemantis. Literally, before I left the house, I just got all the drum tracks for the first album delivered. So we're tracking the first album. And once again, I'm doing something completely different than all my other projects. This one is, it's a multi-album concept story. I have about 4 albums written. This is the first one we're tracking.
Wow.
Different musicians. It's more symphonic, a lot of guest vocals. I don't even sing on some of these songs. Other people do. But it's a vampire love story with a supernatural twist to it. It's just this whole different thing. And once again, it's branching out, getting another creative outlet, doing something completely different than I've been doing with the other projects.
It's turning into a Netflix series.
It absolutely it has the potential to go in a lot of different ways.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's in the early stages as, we're tracking. I'm really seeing the songs start to take shape. So it's like, ooh, all right.
It sounds good for like comics and graphic novels too,
Oh yeah.
Like it could just be a whole thing of art.
It could. It'll cost me some money.
Yeah, right. I think people don't realize that. Like so I'm a published author, and if I go do events with my books, people just want me to give them to them for free. Like they think they are free. Like I don't even make enough to buy a piece of gum like off of a book. You know how it is. It's the same with music sales, and it's like they want you why should I buy it from you? Like, because it costs me money. That's why, so I'm big about, support people, buy their merch. It's, artists, music artists, especially, it's the only way nowadays that you guys can survive is off of the merch. And it's the only thing that's really a direct link to you, the artist, opposed to everybody else that has their hand in the pot. So With that said, tell everybody how they can reach out to you on the web, on socials, and check out everything that you have. Yeah,
definitely. It's a one-stop shop. You go to normanskinner.net. All my socials are listed. And, up in the bar, there's a store there where you can buy all different merch from past bands, ones that we haven't even discussed, current bands. And I will be linking we have a ton, and I say a ton, I mean a ton of new Forbidden merch being launched in the next month. I'm going to link all of those to my store so they can go to my site as well. And anything that's Forbidden will automatically push you to the other store. So, but yeah, hit me up. I always tell people, I go, I'm a very normal dude, down to earth. I like to make friends, not necessarily fans. So hit me up on the socials. I reply to all my messages. So
nice. Well, I love all that you do, and you're an amazing musician. Everybody that doesn't know should check out everything of yours, not just what they know. And your solo stuff is badass. So I recommend everybody get that album and check out all the merch. Cause I was in that store. I'm like, now that's a merch store. So go do it, or they can't listen to my show.
Right.
Hey, thanks a lot for everything. Thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day, brother.
You too, man.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.